Hey guys, it's Shanna, and today I'm going to be doing my 10-week pregnancy update with baby number 2. I can't believe it, but I'm here. I'm on a weight loss journey, and I'm pregnant with my second child. It is very exciting now. So if you haven't seen the vlog where I found out I was pregnant and shared that with my husband, you should watch that. I also know I'm going to be putting up a video of like telling my family and stuff. So if that's already up, I will also have that linked in the description box below. And if not, it is going to be coming soon. So with Elias, I found out I was pregnant, and then I was kind of like, okay, now I can do whatever I want. I can eat whatever I want. I can be lazy. And I had no shame in my game. Like, 100%, I'm like, I think every pregnant woman should have a pregnancy like that where you just milk it. But now I've done that, and I want to just keep going and keep losing weight and being on this journey. And before I got pregnant with Elias, I lost around 35 pounds, I think. My start pregnancy weight with him was 333. And then with this one, my start pregnancy weight is 336. And again, I lost around, I think, 35 pounds. It was like basically exactly. And then I found out I was pregnant. But as I was saying, with Elias, I just milked the pregnancy. And I was fine with that. But I knew that with this one, like I didn't start working out until Elias was 10 months old. So I just started to get back on the bandwagon. It's only been about 3 months. And then I find out I'm pregnant. And at first it was kind of hard because I was like, this is going to interrupt my plans. But I've come to terms with that, and I don't think it has to. I still need to talk to my midwife and stuff, but my intention for this pregnancy is still to lose weight. So I haven't been, going as crazy. Plus, also with the laziness factor, you kind of can't when you are already a mother to one child. Because, when I was pregnant with Elias, a lot of, my symptom was just being really tired and wanting to sleep all the time. Like, I napped all the time, and I'm not a napper. With this one, I occasionally will take a nap when he's taking one, but I usually like to have, his nap time be kind of, my personal time. So, yeah, you can't really be as lazy. Definitely on the weekends, though, when Brandon's home from work, I do milk it a little more, can you hang out with Elias so I can, do nothing. So I've kind of talked about my weight loss goals with everything and my start weight. So with working out, that's where it's getting a little harder for me. It's going to be interesting to see how this is going to be different than my pregnancy with Elias, because with Elias, I was doing Body Revolution, and I know I had a couple more weeks of that to finish up, and I did finish it, and then I did nothing else for the rest of the pregnancy. With this one, I've been working out, but I've also taken weeks where I'm just going to take this whole week off. I've done that twice so far. So it'll be interesting to see as the pregnancy progresses if I keep going with my workouts, but I want to. That's my goal. I've just been so bored with working out lately. And I know with pregnancy, everyone is obsessed with walking. Everyone I see, in the medical world, they're like, walk, walk, walk. And I'm like, I hate everyone's obsession with walking. I don't like walking. Give me dance cardio workout, something like that. I love it and it's fun, but I hate walking. It's a real problem. However, that being said, once spring hit after Elias was born, I was loving taking him for walks and just getting out and getting fresh air after being cooped up all winter with a newborn baby. So that was good. And I think as I lose weight, I might start to like walking more. I think it's just that when you're so heavy, it's so uncomfortable to walk. So I don't enjoy it maybe the way other people do. Also with my nutrition, It's been tricky. I haven't like really been, I mean, I haven't been like eating out a lot or anything like I did with Elias, but I find that I just don't want to eat much nutrition. One of the hardest parts, at least for my pregnancies, both of them, this is one thing I've noticed, is that I crave carbs. The idea of protein just, so like even like eating a string cheese and stuff, it just doesn't sound good to me. So that can be really hard, and I need a lot of protein when I'm pregnant. But it's like the only things that sound good are carbs. So that's where it's hard because I don't necessarily feel like I'm binging on bad food, but I also know that I'm not eating good food either, if that makes any sense. But I've been keeping track of my calories all along, and I'm definitely eating more. And it is a myth or whatever that when you're pregnant you're eating for two. I think especially as big as I am, I do not need to be eating for two, but I have been eating more. And I think they say you only need like 200 or 300 more calories a day, but I also eat way more than that. And I don't feel any shame in that because I'm actually really hungry. So one of my first signs with like wanting to take a pregnancy test was the tired fatigueness of like I was trying to do my workouts and I just didn't have the energy. I would like do them, but I just like couldn't get into like top gear. But then the other one was hunger. Like whenever I've been pregnant and also breastfeeding, it's like a pit in my stomach. Like it actually feels like an empty pit that has nothing in it, and I can eat and it will still feel like there's nothing in it. So that was kind of one of my first indicators to take a pregnancy test. So that's where it's like I'm definitely eating more calories than even like doctors think that you should, but I'm actually really hungry, so I don't feel any shame in that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start talking about some of the symptoms that I've had thus far in this pregnancy. This pregnancy has been quite different than my pregnancy with Elias. With him, I basically never felt pregnant. It was an easy breezy pregnancy. This one has been a little more interesting. So I have felt nausea. With Elias, I basically never did. With this one, before I actually found out I was pregnant, there was a couple of times that I was like kind of sick, and it's still kind of a mystery if it was like flu-ish sickness or if it was the nausea. I mostly think it was morning sickness, and I just didn't know I was pregnant yet. And then since finding out I am pregnant, I've noticed that kind of keep up. It's not as of late, being 10 weeks now, it's really not that bad, but one of the things that like kind of triggers it, so is thinking about food. I don't have any like specific cravings. I don't think there's been anything that's like specifically like I'm craving this thing. It's more of like this like, and I can't even really say repulsion because it's not specific like, oh, this one thing is what grosses me out and the idea of it is so nasty. Like I'll make dinner basically every night, and I will like I'll take like a small little piece and like cautiously eat it because I genuinely don't know if I'm going to be able to eat it. Nothing has made me throw up. Nothing has made me not be able to eat it. Like basically every time I've tasted the dinner, I've been able to eat it just fine. But the idea of like trying it for the first time makes me like nauseous. It's really weird. Another symptom that I didn't even realize was a symptom until I started going to appointments, and then they would like ask me if I had sore nipples. I was like, oh no. And then I was like, yes, I do. When when Elias breastfeeds, on the left nipple, it like pinches so hard. It's very weird. So I have the tenderness on the one side, and then the other thing that has been really different about this pregnancy compared to Elias's is my hormones. Guys, like crazy crazy hormones, okay? When I was pregnant with Elias, I had a time, I don't remember how far along I was, where I was convinced I wanted to divorce Brandon. And in my head, I 100% knew it was hormones, but in my like feelings, I'm like, this is really how I feel. So I would even like Google like getting a divorce during pregnancy and stuff. It was crazy. I don't think it lasted very long, and I got over it and it was fine. But with this pregnancy and this early on, I have had so many spurts of like hating my husband, and like I can laugh about it now because we're like good now. I think the last week or so I've been fine, but my hormones have been crazy, and I've been talking to some other pregnant girls lately, even my sister, and finding out that they had like really angry outbursts and stuff too. So that's been interesting. Because like with Elias, I really didn't. I had that like one moment, and that was it. And Brandon even says like when I was making the notes for this video, I was like, so is there anything you noticed that's like different from this pregnancy from the last? And he's like, the symptoms. He also meant the nausea, but the hormones have been crazy. I don't really have much to elaborate on that other than I just was so angry and so crazy. And I've been noticing like at Bible study, my like prayers each week were like, or I was like sharing with the girls about how I just like felt so out of control and blah, blah, blah. And that was even before I found out I was pregnant. So it was just like the hormones. So, initial instinct when I found out I was pregnant was that this one was going to be a boy. I just like think I'm gonna make boys. But just with this being so different, with having the nausea, with being so crazy on my hormones, and I have one other difference that I'm gonna talk about here in a second. I'm starting to think, not that it is a girl, but it can very definitely be a girl. And then the last like major difference is constipation and diarrhea. So some fun facts about me is before I ever had Elias, before I was ever pregnant with him, milk would like I don't think I was lactose intolerant, but if I did drink milk, I would get diarrhea. So when I got pregnant with Elias, 100% regulated. It was like a miracle. Like I could eat whatever. And I almost wonder if I have like mild irritable bowel syndrome or something. I don't know. But I do know, like, even like getting a cheeseburger and stuff can like go through me. You just never know. But then I got pregnant with Elias, and it was seriously amazing. But then with this one, okay, this is where it gets tricky again. Have I been sick? Or is this all pregnancy related? I don't know. But I have had some insane diarrhea. I had diarrhea for 5 days straight. And then constipation. I know that the constipation is 100% the pregnancy, because even once like my flu or whatever it was that I was sick with cleared up, I've still been constipated, and it's been terrible. I'll still take constipation over diarrhea, but it's just crazy how like with Elias my digestive system was perfect, and with this one it's been crazy. So with that being said, so I had the 5 days of diarrhea, and then I cleared up for like a day or two, and then I was just randomly one day I started just feeling some pain below my belly button, and I've never had a miscarriage. I don't know what it feels like or anything. So I started getting like a little worried. And then eventually it like worked its way to where my entire stomach was just in severe pain. And then I started throwing up. And while I was throwing up, I got to the point where like I was about to black out. So flashback to like June of 2018, I I know it's not dehydration. Everyone always wonders if it's dehydration. A, I drink a ton. And also, later, no, I'm being very confusing, but it doesn't matter right now. Okay, so point of the story is I'm pretty sure I wasn't dehydrated, but I had really bad diarrhea, and then I actually blacked out on the toilet, fell on the floor, hit my head. My husband woke me up on the bathroom floor. This is in June, not while I was pregnant. Woke me up on the bathroom floor because I had completely blacked out. So, flash to now, I am over my diarrhea. I've been feeling good for 2 days, but now I'm like having pain in my stomach, and I started throwing up, and I got to the point where I started feeling like I was in a tunnel, like it was hard to hear, and I like started feeling that way I did when I blacked out before. So, I called my midwife, and she was saying that I should just rest, so I went and laid down in bed and was like trying to rest, and I just couldn't. My stomach hurt so bad, and I was trying to drink some Gatorade and eat some applesauce, and those both immediately just came right back up. So I was like, I'm not one to like jump to going to the doctor, but I'm like, I can't do this. I need to go to the hospital. So we went in the hospital. This is my first time ever being a patient at a hospital. And we were there for 3 hours. And by that point, so it was 3 hours before we got to see the doctor because they were so busy. And by that point, it had just cleared up. Like, my pain had stopped. And it's still a mystery to this day what it was. The doctor thinks that it was a bug mixed with morning sickness. So all I know is after that day, I felt fine. It didn't happen again. And even since then, I haven't really felt much nausea. And one thing I'm not sure if this is pregnancy related. I kind of thought it was, but I'll explain. Is being sick. I tend to have a pretty strong immune system. I don't tend to get sick very much. And I feel like I've been sick constantly lately. And I do know that when you're pregnant, you can have a lowered immune system. So that's like what I was thinking. But then I was talking to my mom, and like she's been getting sick a lot lately. And she's just like, she's been noticing people in town are getting sick a lot lately. So I don't know if it probably isn't the pregnancy. But it is frustrating how much I've been sick lately. So one symptom that I have not had with this pregnancy, fun fact, okay. So when I was pregnant with Elias, like I said, I never really felt very pregnant. But the one thing that I realized was very real was pregnancy brain. Like, it was crazy. I could not remember anything. My brain was just scattered. I don't feel that way with this one. So either I have mom brain and I don't even know it because I'm just so used to living that way, or my brain's better with this one. Okay, so I shared with my midwife that I was pregnant. She sent me in for a progesterone check, blood test, which I also did with Elias. Now with Elias, okay, so when you find out you're pregnant and then they check your progesterone, they want it at least at like 21, I guess is what she said. With Elias, it was at 4.7, which is the lowest either of my midwives had ever seen progesterone on a baby that survived. So they were saying Elias is basically a miracle baby. With this one, it was 7.5, so a little higher, but still very low. So I, with my pregnancy with Elias, I took progesterone the whole time, and I probably will with this one too. So I'm taking suppositories, which are really fun, because if you don't know about them, it's just this little, like, pellet that you put in your vagina each night, and it's greasy, and it leaks, and it's wonderful. And then I'm also on a high dosage cream, so I think I'm taking 400 milligrams a day with both of those. Ironically enough, I probably prefer the suppository just because I'm like one who does not put lotion on my body. And you only have to put like a teaspoon of cream on, but I'm still just so weird about it. So yeah, mom progesterone, and in a couple of weeks I'll be going in to just see how it's going up. It'd be really awesome so typically what can happen with a lot of women is they can take progesterone and eventually their body will kick in and start creating more on its own, and then you won't have to take it anymore. So that'd be really great if that happened, because holy moly, guys, expensive. It's expensive. Yeah. So we went in for our ultrasound. When I found out I was pregnant, I wanted to wait a couple weeks before I did the ultrasound, because with Elias, we went in when he was only 5 weeks, and they couldn't even see him at first. They only seen the gestational sac, so they couldn't do the heartbeat or anything. And then we had to come back 2 weeks later. So I was like, I don't know how far along I am, but I knew I wanted to wait a couple of weeks so that for sure they would see the baby. So I scheduled it for 2 weeks after I found out I was pregnant. And then we went to go to that appointment, and they had to reschedule. I was devastated. And so we went in the following week, and here is, well, I'll actually show it here in a second. Okay, so we went in for the ultrasound, and they seen the heartbeat of 159, and she even said, when she told me the number, she said, according to old wives, that would make a girl because it's higher. And then also, that the baby was in the uterus. That was confirmed. And then trying to see the baby, though, and check for how far along they were, they weren't able to get a clear picture. So in these pictures, within the dark circle is the light, which is the baby. See if I can. It's just kind of glary, but those are there. So in the dark circle, the white spot is the baby, but it was blurry, so they weren't able to get a good, a really good measure of the baby for measuring how far along I was. So they did it from the gestational sac, which I guess isn't as accurate, but according to the gestational sac, I was, at that point, 7 weeks, 4 days, I think. And, with Elias, I never wanted to get ultrasounds. I know they say that there's no harm in getting them, but I don't trust a lot of what people tell me. So I, anyway, didn't want to get any with Elias, and I think I got 4, maybe it was only 3, but either way, I got more than I wanted to. And so with this one, I was originally planning again to really not get any, but I had to get this one because I had absolutely no idea how far along I was. My period was on August 23rd, but who knows if my period was going to be normal, because I've had my periods are weird. So there's no way of knowing if I got pregnant that month or the following month or the following month after that. So, and it seems like it was quite a ways down the road that it actually happened. Where was I going with this? Okay, so getting ultrasounds. So I had to get this one to find out how far along I am. And now I don't have to, but they want me to come back in just because they weren't able to get a clear picture of the baby. And I'm a pushover about it, because as much as I don't want them, I'm also an opportunity to see my baby. Of course. So we're planning to go in a couple of weeks to hopefully, because she said sometimes it can just be a day-to-day thing. She has absolutely no idea why some days she's able to get a clear picture and other times she's not. So that is the plan. So a couple of ways in which this pregnancy experience has been different than my first, other than symptoms and everything, thus far, is first off, you're not as consumed. And by you, I mean me, because maybe everyone else is different, but probably not, at least in this. When I found out I was pregnant with Elias, I was able to literally focus on that 100% of the time. Putting together a nursery, obsessing over names, and oh my gosh, is it going to be a boy or is it going to be a girl? And like fantasizing about the future and just thinking about it nonstop. You get pregnant with your second kid. I got pregnant with my second kid. And you don't have time. Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm like busy taking care of my kid all day. So, I just do that. And then we occasionally talk about names, which we highly disagree on. And I don't have a second room to decorate a nursery, so that's something I don't even have to think about. Whether this is a boy or a girl, they're going to get hand-me-downs from Elias. So that was one thing is with Elias, it was hard so we didn't find out the gender with him. And it was hard at first because I wanted to just like start buying clothes. But then once I just picked a couple gender neutral colors and kind of focused more on putting the room together, that was able to take my focus off of it and it was fine. And then with this one, I haven't even like thought about it being hard at all to not know the gender. It's been like super easy. Because yes, we are going to wait this time too. It's my favorite thing. I love it. Another thing about first pregnancy was the idealizing of it, the fantasizing about what your family is going to be like and what the future is going to hold, because you don't even know what it's really like to be a parent yet. And I was I knew, so they say like being a parent is hard and you're like, yeah, it'll be hard, no big deal. But like you don't really realize that when it's like a 24/7 job, it's like a 24/7 job. Like you never had a job that you can't clock out for. So it is completely different in the sense that like I realize that it doesn't have that, it's not as idealized. It's more like reality, which I think is a good thing. And it's also, I don't want to like, I've been praying a lot because I can find that I think with being pregnant and having kids and stuff, there can be a lot of like fear attached to things that Satan can kind of just get you to be scared about stuff. And one of the things I have been thinking about is Elias is the easiest kid. And it's not just me saying that, like everyone says that. Like he doesn't have any like stranger danger. Like he's still totally fine with strangers. He's not like overly attached to me. He doesn't have the separation anxiety. He's never mixed up day and night. He's always slept really well. So it's like he's been so easy. What are the odds we're gonna have 2 easy kids? I feel like, and then again, there's no point like in stressing out about it and worrying about it. I will say one of the hardest parts about becoming a parent is the sleep deprivation, though. It's bad. It's bad. The other thing I've been having to like diligently start praying about is fear of labor. So with Elias, I did 100% natural home birth. Loved it. Totally doing it again. Seriously, amazing. But like when people say labor hurts, they're not kidding. And before I had ever experienced labor, just a part of me was like, well, like how bad does it really hurt? And like, I can handle it. And also just the idea that like relaxing will ease your pain. Now, it does. If you tense up, it is going to hurt more than if you stay relaxed. So with my labor, I actually did really good because I did like these CDs, I think I talked about in one of Elias's pregnancy videos, these hip birth DVDs, CDs, whatever they were called, and they just teach you techniques for relaxing. And I used those, and I think it made all the difference. I really do think it helped a lot. I was literally as relaxed as you could be, I think, but it hurt. It still hurt. I was pretty shocked at how much, oh man, I can't think about it too much. Okay, so also, with that being said, to prepare for my birth with Elias, I watched a lot of pregnancy, labor videos, and labor and birth videos. And I've only watched one with this pregnancy, and I actually started crying because I was just so scared to go through that again. So, my battery's about to die. I need to hurry up. Moral of this long story is that fear is not going to help any situation. Either way, this baby's coming out. Either way, I'm going to go into labor. So you know what? I need to just chill out. I just got to keep praying and because I know theoretically your second birth is easier. Theoretically, I know that's not always the case. And I think one case in which it won't be the case is if I am terrified, because that fear is going to just lock up the body. So it's very important, and if you are a prayer, please be praying for me, because I don't want to be scared. It is the miracle of life, and it is amazing. It's truly amazing when you enter the mom club and you're like, my body just did that thing, because it just did, and it's crazy. But so yeah, I'm just not gonna be scared anymore, because you know what, it's gonna happen. The baby is gonna come out. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I had to talk about. I feel like I've been talking forever. I'm actually really curious to see how long this video is. But yeah, I really do plan with this one to make more videos. Like I said with Elias, I justified all my laziness. I was like, I don't want to make videos. I don't want to do anything. I was literally a bump on a log. With this one, I have more energy, which is weird, because you'd think I wouldn't have as much, already having another kid. But I do regret not documenting my pregnancy and also Elias's first year of life and stuff. So I really plan on doing more of that with this one. So probably my goal is monthly pregnancy updates. We'll just see. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and click subscribe, and there will be more videos coming in the future. See you guys. Bye.